So today we're gonna go right into the rent to own. The last time we all met up, Lucy gave us information about the rent to own program, right? We all know that the rent to own program is a strategy. It's a marketing tool. It's a way to get in front of more people. There's a couple of things that goes along with the rent to own program, right? In the initial consultation. So when she broke it down to us, she mentioned that we got to have a buyer's brokerage agreement, which we do have a template that today we're basically going to go over. And then we also have a lifestyle profile sheet, which is essentially a questionnaire on what you should be asking, your people when you're sitting down with them and finding out more information about them. So those are the two things that we're going to go over today. And then at the end, I'll leave it open for some Q&As. So as we're going through it, if you have any questions, I just recommend just jotting it down on a piece of paper. And then at the end, we can go over the Q&A and answer any questions you guys have. So first things first, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys where you can find the buyer's brokerage agreement and the lifestyle profile sheet. So as you guys know, I created a Google Drive called the Agent's Playbook, right? Agent's Playbook. And in this Agent's Playbook, like I mentioned to everybody, I try to put as much resources as you guys need in here for easy access. So I created a folder called the Rent to Own. And in this folder right here, you have the lifestyle profile sheet, you have the template, right? The template of the buyer's brokerage agreement. And then you also have the SOS rent to own PowerPoint. So this is actually the PowerPoint that Lucy went over when she presented the rent to own program to us. So you guys have access to it as well. So I opened up all of them already. So just to recap, this is the rent to own, right? Why pay rent anywhere when you can live in the home you're going to buy? Now, I wanted to touch base on this really quickly. So, Jeanette actually took this same verbiage and she created marketing materials to promote this rent to own program. So, Marisa, I know you had questions about that earlier today. That's essentially what she did. So she created something like this, where obviously it has, the renters, right? You're calling out to the people that you're looking for. And as Lucy said, renters are the best candidate for this program. So renters. And then exactly, oh, this is actually, hold on.
That's my leasing concierge one, yeah.
That's your leasing concierge. So I have
Yeah, I was
to,
gonna say the one I saw had pictures of both of you on different sides.
let's see. Do you need, if I, okay, where is the one? Rent to own? No.
Maybe you don't have it in yours. I have it in mine.
Rent to, this one?
Oh, yeah, there it is.
That's the one I saw, yeah.
So she took that same verbiage, right? She said, rent to own, why pay rent anywhere when you can live in the home you're going to buy? Don't let credit challenges keep you from buying your dream home today. Bad credit, student loans, bankruptcy. It's okay. Contact me today. So boom, right there, the gist of the program. But she went ahead and put the contact me today, the call to action, and her phone number. So it's great because what you can do is now start taking this flyer and just posting it everywhere. And I know I've seen Jeanette post this a few times a day, which is great because that's what you want to do, is start activating that algorithm, like Lucy mentioned the last time we spoke. So I wanted to just kind of touch on that real quick before going into the buyer's brokerage agreement. Okay, so can you all see this fine, or do I need to
Yeah,
zoom it
it's
in?
fine.
That's fine.
Okay. So the exclusive buyer brokerage agreement, now a lot of this is already filled out. So when you're sitting down with your people, after you present the rent to own program, after you go over the lifestyle profile sheet, and they're like, yes, sign me up, this is what you're going to be utilizing to sign them up. So it says here the parties, right? The buyer, which is your clients and the people who are interested in the rent to own. Grants, Q International Experts by eXp Realty. Lucy Quinones, which is a broker, and it's just saying, this is exclusive right to work and assist the buyer in locating and negotiating the acquisitions of suitable real property. Okay, so it's binding them together. It's binding the buyer and the brokerage as well. The term. So depending on the term, so how long is this agreement going to be for? Now, Lucy had mentioned over 9 months. You know, we want to get paid now more, rather than later. So,
Yesterday.
yeah, for real. So, kind of passing that 9-month mark is not recommended. So, you have to just do the math. Where are we? What's the month today? What's 9 months out? That's the max. Obviously, if it's sooner, even better, but you want to go ahead and, do those. That's the term of the contract.
Yeah, I had printed it out already. I haven't.
Perfect. So follow
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3, right? So the property, the buyer's interested in acquiring real property as follows. So obviously the type of property we don't know yet, so we keep it very general. All and any improved property. Location, whoever buyer finds the right home. The price range is to be determined. Okay, we don't know the price range just yet because this is the initial consultation, and obviously we know step 2 is for the lender to give us the diagnosis within 48 hours. Then we'll know more or less where we're at. So buyer has been pre-qualified, pre-approved but we're in progress. So once they, we get this really settled and we know exactly, what their diagnosis is, how long is it going to take them to get mortgage ready, and then we'll be able to really have everything that we need to move forward to like phase 2. So here, I know it's a little bit small, so I'm just gonna like zoom it in a little bit more so we can read the preferred terms and conditions. So it says here, buyer understands that all of our work will be done upfront once we begin to work on helping them become a homeowner through the SOS, which is the Start Owning System. Q International, our agent or representative's compensation will come from the purchase closing of the property. If customer decides to purchase with another realtor, they understand that Q International, its agents or representative is entitled to, and buyers willing to pay us for our service, a 3% commission of the purchase price at the time the customer becomes a homeowner. So that's securing, our commissions regardless, right? So it's important for them to, read that and understand that as well. So the broker's obligation obviously is, kind of jots down everything of what we're obligated to do, which is, be professional, assist in buyer in determining buyer's financial capability and financing options, discuss property requirements, which we're doing all up front, assist buyer to contract for property, monitor deadlines, and close and resulting transactions. So obviously, once we are in transactions, it's important for us to monitor the contract, make sure that we're meeting deadlines, and we can close on time. That's obviously our job as real estate agents, right? To make sure that we're performing upon the contract. So cooperate with real estate licensee, working with the seller. If any, to affect the transaction, buyer understands that even if broker is compensated by seller, or a real estate licensee who is working with a seller, such compensation does not compromise broker's duties to buyer. So that's just saying that even if the the broker on the other side is compensated by is compensating us, they're still obligated to, that they're still obligated to compensate us per this agreement. So we know that things are, we know that things are changing, right? Come next month, I think we're gonna have new buyer brokerage agreements, contracts. So what we're gonna do is once they launch it, I think it's next month or the month after that, I have to double check. Once they launch these contracts, we obviously have to, kind of compare the two and make sure that, if there's any additional information that we have to maybe transfer this information over to that new contract. But just so you know, right now, until we get those new buyer brokerage agreements, this is what we're going to utilize if and when we get a buyer for the rent to own. So I want to go ahead and skip over to the compensation. Okay, so the compensation, the purchase or exchange. So here it says up to 5%, right? And then it says here or 10%. So this Lucy had explained to me is in the event, the 10% is in the event for improved, for vacant land. Vacant land can be up to 10%. And then up to 5% is like new construction. You know, new construction sometimes is a little bit, 4% commission. Sometimes you even get 5%. So just, we want to cover all ends and we put up to 5%. Now, same thing with the lease. With the lease terms, so like when a property, when the buyer finds or the rent to own finds a property and they're under the leasing, right? Because they're still going to be renting the property. Jeanette asked a really good question the other day, and she said, does the rent goes towards the property or the down payment? It does not. Does not go towards the down payment or the house itself. That is the tenant paying directly to the landlord, and whatever terms they come up to as far as like the leasing amount per month, that does not go towards the down payment. So I just want to make that clear. Okay. So option, so broker will be paid 50%, goes toward commissions. So if they're going to option out the property, that is another, compensation right there, which I don't think that that's going to be an option, but, something that someone would take, but most likely is just going to have to cover all of our ends just in case. Protection period. So 180 days after termination. So say, this whole contract, right, is for 9 months. So let's just say right around a 9-month mark, Jeanette starts, there's a couple of properties that that she showed them, and they're like, oh no, we don't wanna pursue any of them. Okay, then the contract ends. Now the people go and they reach out to one of the houses that Jeanette showed them right before their contract expired. This is saying you have 180 days after the termination to secure your commissions in the event that they pursue another, that property that you already showed them while you were under the contract. Okay. So I want to then go to the special clauses. So SOS, start owning system by Quinones International Services. So stop renting, start owning, rent to own, creative financing, private money, credit repair, income tax restoration, first time buyer seminar, buyer training, first time investor coaching, cash flow strategies, investment opportunities, money management training, and credit counseling. So this is also just saying, okay, these are the types of services that you are going to be able to, take advantage of, right? To take advantage of, or that we have access to in the event that they need any of these types of services. So depending on the person, right? Because we won't know exactly what they're going to need until they get diagnosed. So once they get diagnosed by the lender, then we'll go ahead and we'll train them, or we'll use one of our expert advisors, right? We want to use that word, expert advisors, and pair them up with someone who's going to help them, get mortgage ready. And then that's it. So I wanted to just touch on those main things, right? Because we want to be able to be crystal clear on how obviously the compensation works, the protection period, when are you protected on, what are the this part exactly, right? To be able to articulate that as well, what they should expect from us. And then also, this is what they should expect from us as well. So once they, you go over all of this with them, they, understand it. Obviously, the next step would be for them to sign it. And at the bottom of every page is going to be their initials as well. So I want to stop here real quick to answer any questions before we move on to the lifestyle profile sheet.
Right there on the I don't understand that whole leasing 10%, 50% broker paid. Will
So
be
the lease,
paid.
yes. Okay, so let's read that. So lease or 10% of the gross lease value to be paid when buyer enters into the lease. If buyer enters into a lease purchase agreement, the amount of the lease fee which broker receives will be credited toward the amount due broker for the purchase. So once so you know how the rent to own, right? So we find them a property and they're going to be renting for 9 months. So this is just saying 10% of that rent that they're going to be submitting, 10% is going to be going towards us. So we're going to be acting, not us as Q International. So remember, we're not property managers. Let's put that out there. We are not property managers. QRM is going to be the ones to more or less, collect the money, make sure that, the rent is being paid and it's going to be distributed to the landlord. And then obviously the 10% is going to be, paid to QRM for the management of that. So that's just covering that, and that 10% of their rent is going to, for the management part of it. But we are not managing it. Okay.
No, yeah.
We're not property managers. And then the option, so let's read the option. So broker will be paid 50% of the option amount to be paid when buyer enters into the option agreement. If buyer enters into a lease with option to purchase, broker will be compensated for both lease and the option. If buyer subsequently, I can never say that word, exercises the option, the amount received by broker for the lease and option will be credited towards the amount. Broker for the purchase. So renting with the option to purchase, we really don't like that, because that it's basically giving them a way out. From my understanding, is giving them a way out to not move forward with the purchase. So this is just saying, in the event that they pursue the rent to own option, right, 50% of the option amount is basically going to be going towards commission. Okay, but we want them to actually purchase the home. So we are always going to pursue, having a contract to close, right? We're gonna have like all of our dots like I'd or I'm sorry, our I's dotted and our T's crossed,
For us.
because we don't want to give them that option to be able to just back out whenever they want, So, but in the event that they're going to exercise this option, they're saying that 50% is going to go towards the commission. So, and I'll have Lucy, like, the next time we talk with her and stuff like that, to just like, go over this a little bit more. I don't know if she's ever had this scenario and how that looks like, but maybe the next time we can ask her, okay, how does this work in the event that somebody wants to go through this option?
It happens.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, and I would just recommend, for the both of you guys to obviously read this from like top to bottom, kind of understand the language a little bit more. If there's anything that you don't understand, obviously we're not, we're not attorneys and stuff like that. So like that deciphering what contract says is not really what we do, but we can more or less piece it together to be able to articulate the point across to our client so they feel comfortable and they feel confident to be able to sign it. So I would recommend for you guys to both take the time, read it, from top to bottom, highlight anything that doesn't make sense. And then what we can do is have like a follow-up class on this with Lucy specifically, so she can help us, understand, whatever parts that we don't really understand. Okay. Sounds good?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So the next one is really, really straightforward. The lifestyle profile sheet. Marisa asked, she's like, I'm not too sure what that is. I haven't seen that before.
Well,
So
she
I'm
said the
happy.
lifestyle thing, and when we're at the office, and I'm like, what's the lifestyle? That's the only word she
Yes.
used. I'm like, what's the
No, I said the lifestyle profile. The
oh,
lifestyle profile.
profile? Okay, I didn't hear the profile. Okay.
Yeah, lifestyle profile sheet. This is basically what you're going to be using to get more information from the buyer, right? This is kind of like a guide for you to collect as much as you can. So it's really straightforward. Obviously, you're collecting their personal information. What are they looking for? So how many bedrooms, how many baths, what type of house they're
Oh,
looking for.
sorry.
Sorry, I hope I'm not boring you, Maricel.
No, I'm just tired. It's been a long day.
Yes. Don't worry, we're gonna close it out real soon because this is like literally just
Don't
like
worry.
really straightforward.
I
So the
just
type
can't
of,
hold the yawn. Sorry.
I know it's contagious.
Mm,
All right, so the type of property, right? So if it's gonna be new construction, townhouse, single family home, when do they want it by? So like, how much time do they have? And this is not only just for like the rent to own, you could actually use this for buyers as well. Because the questions
mhm,
that go next is really like intricate and very detailed. But how will you pay for it? Obviously, in this case, they're not going to be paying cash, they're going to need a loan. So that might not really apply for a rent to own, but obviously you can just go ahead and put like, bank loan. Price range we won't know yet, but what important issues are you considering? So primary home, most likely they're looking for a house for themselves, right, to live in. Where would you like it to be? So, maybe we can let them dream a little bit. Okay, you want it inland, golf course, this is again, so they might be not so picky because they've been renting, right? And now they're
mhm.
like, okay, I just want to get into a home. As long as I'm able to, have a roof over my head. I mean, some people might be picky. We've had that situation already before, but I highly doubt they're gonna be like, I want golf access, Cape Coral with the
Yeah.
with the lift. Like, okay, come on, like let's be serious.
Mhm.
Okay, so how important is proximity or drive time to you? Now, this might be a little bit more important to them. Maybe they want to be close to home, or I'm sorry, close to their job. Maybe they want to be close to a school, close to the highway, right? We want to know exactly what their proximity, more or less where they want to be. Now, this goes to a bunch of questions. Now, when I talked to Lucy about this, she's like, really, the first page is most likely what we'll use for the rent to own. If you want to go into the second page, that's up to you, but it goes a little bit more into details. For the buyer consultations, just a regular buyer, this is good to use. Okay, so is this your first time visiting the area? What other areas are you considering? How did you hear about this area? Have you visited any model homes yet? How long have you been looking for a home? Where do you live now? How long have you lived there? Do you own or you rent a home? You see how some of these might not have really applied to them. So you kind of have to use your judgment on this. Maybe they are coming from a different place, right? We've had people come from, different places as well, and we want to get to know them a little bit more. But really what you're going to be utilizing is that first page. And then if you can think of any other questions, you can always feel free to use this as a template and, create your own. That's not against the law for you to do if you want to just use this as a template. But I wanted to just share this with you, let you know that it exists, right, for you to utilize and where you can find it. So agent playbook folder here with the rent to own, and then you can have everything that you need so far. Now, as we start going a little bit deeper into the rent to own, there's most likely going to be additional resources that we're going to add to this. But for now, this is all you guys are going to need. I'm also going to work on creating some just very basic templates. I'm going to have our marketing guy create very basic templates for you guys to use and put your own information on it. So like, how Jeanette did, you know, very simple, straightforward, have some text, put your phone number, boom, that's it, send it out. So I'm going to actually make that request and get them to kind of give us a few examples. And then once he gives us that basic template, I'll go ahead and distribute it to you guys, and then you go ahead and you work your magic, add your pictures, add your text, do whatever you want to it, and just start blasting it. So do you guys have any questions? I told myself, I'm gonna end exactly at 7. So now we have a few minutes for Q&As. So
Do
if
you
you
know
guys have any questions.
how many families have been helped with this program?
So I actually looked at app files, which what they were utilizing when they were running this program. They use this, it's almost like a sky slope, but it's app files, and they store
Yeah.
all of the files in there. That's where I found the template, and it was a long list of files that they had. So it's true, they were actually, not that I was doubting at all, but it was nice to see like families were actually helped with this, and it actually helped more than one. Right, it's not just one or
Yeah.
two. It was a long list of people. So I don't know, I didn't count all of them, but I did see a nice list of people that were helped with this.
That's good. I just asked, just in case somebody asks me, well, how many people have you guys helped? You know, that comes up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
you can just say a handful, right? We've had a handful. I believe it's over 10 families, but I don't know off the top of my head. I know I just saw the list. I didn't go and count them, but what I can do is I can give you guys an estimate, and you can use that estimate in the event you get asked that question. But very good, very good. Any other questions?
No,
Mm,
No.
I don't think I have any.
All right. Well, I will let you ladies go. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Thank you so